Good evening, ladies and germs. It's Tuesday night. It's 7 o'clock. It's That's Cool Drink. It's the 50th episode of That's Cool Drink. I can't believe it. I got Jason Schaefer and I got Angel on tonight. If you guys don't know Jason, Jason's got the Chicken Coupe. It's a blown big block coupe that's it's a hot rod in all the sense. It's a low buck sort of deal. We were just talking earlier. He went to Suncoast transmissions, and he may have bought a torque converter, and that's like the most expensive thing he's put on this iteration of car, which is sweet. So, hey, Reggie's on saying, "Hey, Reggie, dude, thank you so much for tuning in." A bunch of our hot rod and gasser type dudes are going to be around. We wanted to do this one special because I want to have like all the gasser and hot rod dudes on at one point, like all of them. But Jason found out that Angel was having some problems with her spine, and I just so happened to reach out right at the right time, and he said we would love to do one just us, just so we can remember this. We can talk about ourselves and what we've been doing, and I said absolutely, let's do it. So we've got Angel and we've got Jason on. I mean he's clowning in the background. I mean there's Angel right there looking at the paint in the car. What are you doing, big girl? What are you doing, big girl? Heck yes. But we'll bring him on. We'll have Angel on. It's going to be so much fun tonight, guys. That's Cool Drink. Again, Jason Schaefer. I got Angel on tonight. Next week I am off because I'm going to Bonneville. My first time ever to go to Bonneville for Speed Weeks. It's going to be super cool. I got an invite from Keith Turk. I'm going to be hanging out with Alex Taylor and all those folks. So Bonneville next week, and then I've got I'm going to be home for a day, and then I'm back on the road to Iowa for Havlick's Fastest Streetcar Shootout. That is going to be an absolute riot. It will be live streamed on Bang Shift. So Chad and I are getting the team back together. He's over on Beards and Burnouts right now. So if you want to switch back and forth, do that. But the Havlick's Fastest Streetcar deal is going to be off the chain, absolutely insane. All of the early Tri-5, the baddest Tri-5 stuff that's out there is going to be at that event. It's going to be so much fun. So that one is coming up, and then I've got the Hot Rod Revival, which is interesting because I'm here with Jason Schaefer. And he's the hot rod kind of king, drives his stuff like crazy, and we'll talk all about it. But the Hot Rod Revival at Julesburg Drag Strip, I'm going to be doing a little bit of announcing and racing at that one as well. I'm announcing 4 entries for the race. So basically doing it for free for that little bitty racetrack there. And the Hot Rod Revival is an absolute blast. If you've never been, you should make it happen. So check that out. And then end of the month, next month, I'll be at Dragfest 6. This is at Yellowstone Dragway in Billings, Montana. This is going to be sweet. Big dollar, big tire, small tire, True Street, Pro Dragster, an open comp race, all 660 feet, 8th mile. Really, really going to be fun, man. So good times. Lots of cool stuff coming up for me. But that said, guys, let's get this kicked off. That's Cool Drink. Tuesday night, 7 o'clock. We got Jason Schaefer. We got Angel. It's going to be an amazing night, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys here in 30 seconds. Bam! Robert Mumford says, "My pup." And there she is right there, Miss Angel.
Hey. Yep, she gave me a real good scare last week, man.
Yeah, definitely, man. And like I said, it just so happened the timing worked out perfectly where I reached out and you said, "Man, I got some bad news, and I'd love to be on your show." and I want to have Angel on the show. And so why not, man? It's super cool. Really looking forward to yakking with you tonight. And like we were talking earlier, we need to get the whole gang together, man. All you guys camp on Dragon Drives. You've got a big friend group that hang out with you, and I mean, they're all out here watching now. And man, I mean, heck yes. So at some point, I'm going to have all you cats on. But it made sense for us to do this tonight, and you and I kind of have a little bit of a special bond. I mean, we're both vets, and I mean, one day at sick week, you didn't kind of know me from anybody really, and we were just sort of talking a little bit, and you walked up and you said, "Hey, I need you to call a buddy of mine. He's a vet. He's a cool dude. I think it would maybe brighten his day." And I said, "Jason, pull your phone out of your pocket and let's do it." And you were like, "Right now?" And I'm like, "Right now, let's go."
Yeah,
and
you remember we were at the museum
at Don Garlett's place.
Yep, that was
Yep.
awesome. Man.
It was so cool. It was so cool, and we laid the groundwork for you to be a co-pilot on that. And Chris Roberson, hopefully he's tuning in. You came out with Chair Force One. You came out with Angel, and that was sort of when we took our stuff to a little step higher that day. There's a lot of people you talk with, and a lot of people you kind of get in passing, but not a lot of dudes that do like we do. And so it was cool, and I appreciate that day, and I appreciate every moment we spent before and since, and I'm excited to have you on tonight, man.
Man, thank you. And first of all, thanks for inviting me. And but what you did for me and Chris, because Chris gives back like a mother. You know what I mean? Just his example, everything about Chris. Knowing, I could never judge him or tell him he's doing it different than I would do it because I don't know what it's like.
Right.
So they don't know he's paralyzed and happened from a car accident, gosh, 15, 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. And but he went from having, I'm going to get this right, or I think I will. I think it was, I don't know, 200 or 300 friends on Facebook. In one weekend, he went up to 1,800 friends or 2,000.
Right.
And he loved it. It was, he felt like family right away. I'll tell you,
and he was too.
What's that?
He was family, like right away, man. Yeah. I mean, instantly.
Well, he's been on 1320 and multiple other videos, and he had different guys waiting to talk to him through the later part of the week. But I'll just tell you, it was hard. His I don't know what to call it, not neuropathy, but his symptoms flared up like a big time.
And it was hot, and we were trying to live out in the elements and whatnot, and I get it. Like it was a hell of a deal.
Yeah, he went from not being out of bed for months to only being out of bed maybe 1 or 2 days a week on some good months. And for him to just jump out, and we got him loaded up in that van, and he got it all done, got it stickered up. It was so freaking cool.
Hell yeah, dude! You guys Air Force One, and the theme was making adult diapers cool again.
Yeah. I don't know. Did you come up with that, or did Chris?
I think we both sort of just popped it back and forth, but it worked good. He got a good chuckle out of it. And it was good. It was a blast to have you. This is what sort of brought us together, and like I said, kind of built our friendship a little level higher. And
well,
it's cool.
Me and you and Chris are still serving.
It's
not under the coat of arms, yada yada yada, but we're still serving. Speaking of that, like it's crazy these last few years, and it's a mission field for me. I don't care about people changing. I want people united. We fought for the United States of America, so I started promoting all kinds of car gigs, and the number one rule is united. So if you see me ever advertise, like in January, I got the United Power Cruise. The big thing is it doesn't cost anything. You can't sign up. We want to show America that we're out having fun without taking the fun from you and selling it back to you. Right. We had 220 cars first year. This year was the second. This is in January, first weekend in January. And we had, it was somewhere between we figure between 350 and 400.
That's crazy, dude.
Oh, I tell you, I can send you a link, or I'll put it in the comments on this. But there's one guy came out there from not Stang Life. Anyway, it's a Mustang channel, and this guy is hilarious. And he did a outstanding YouTube video this year. 15 minutes of it was people pulling out. There's 350 cars, all pulling out from the first meeting place, and we cruised to 5 or 6 different meeting places, and almost everybody was getting on it. Only one guy got pulled over. We were frying tires and having a ball. And,
Hell yeah!
And when I'm talking about Model Ts, stock Model T, all the way to Lamborghinis, there was what are those? All these rich cars, Lamborghini, and then there was several
Like
Ferraris.
Ferrari.
Yeah, but then there's some more exotics that were there.
McLarens, and I mean,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, there was one of those, and there was a Ford GT.
Okay.
And unfortunately, the first place I took them wouldn't hold 350 cars very well, and it rained the night before.
Right.
That's not a problem in Florida, except that whole place has been backfilled with clay. 3 cars got stuck. So anyway, anybody who was there or knows about it, I won't be taking you back to a mud hole next year. But anyway, that's our service, right?
And you use a lot of your car type stuff to kind of mobilize that and talk about that. You know, I know you do like a cool like cars and tacos night that you've got going on. Talk to us about all of that and really just, you know, the overall mission of getting dudes out of the house, getting dudes off of the couch, getting dudes with cars out of the garage, and your mission with that. Like it's, I think it's cool. I'm excited to speak it.
Yes. So Sick Week coming up, and I've been looking for the dates. I don't think they've announced Sick Week dates for 2025 yet. I even texted Narcs the other day. Have you heard anything on that? A date? Okay. So, you know, first time I met Rich Guido, who's my hero, and if you don't know that, then you don't know me very well, because I am emulating everything he does.
He just put a comment up, and you can't read it because you don't have your glasses on. But he said, "Still my favorite story," and he misspelled favorite because he's Canadian. Story is how Jason sent me a picture of steaks and told me I had to stop by. I didn't know him from Adam. Wait, well, you know what I mean. Salt of the earth is Jason, is what Rich Guido says, and I'm with you too. Like that dude. I mean, what a better hero than that? I mean, that dude is it.
I mean, that's what Drag and Drive is. To me, he drove from northern Canada to Florida when he needed snow tires for the first 3,000 miles. Now, probably
because it's February. I mean,
yeah, but then he drives through all these southern states where people don't even know what a snow tire is. And I gotta set this phone down to where I'm not shaking you guys to death. But you know, that's how I met him. And so then there's all these people, and me and you have talked in the past where you can judge people, right? And you can divide yourself from them, but you still got to love them and hang out with them and support what they do, so they'll hopefully come around and support what you do. Well, we were talking about it, and I said, I judge people pretty quick on two things. Man, this phone's backwards. Sorry, I am going to say that.
You're fine. You're good to go.
Oh, I know. I turn it one way and it goes to the other angle. Plus, I'm going to put my girl up here. Hold on one sec.
All right. And he told me this earlier, and it's a pretty good little analogy for if he needs to take it seriously or not.
Right. So if
what are you doing, big girl?
Comes up to you, there she is. Somebody comes up to you, and you know, in the car scene, you know right away what they're about if they've got lawn chairs in their trunk versus if they got tools in their trunk. You know,
toolbox, right?
It's kind of a dick way for me to be like, well, I probably wouldn't like that guy. But what I'm learning is the whole car community gets better and better the more I like him. You know, and the other one was. First thing they start talking about, my buddy did this to me when I think I was 19, he was 20. We were just kids, leaned up against a fender on a early 70s Nova, getting my hand washed. And he had a 14-inch air cleaner, round hole cut through the hood, and with a little Holly and an ice nitro system. I'm telling all my stories about getting shot at by the cops, going through roadblocks, and all these modifications they do to the car. And he just grabs my hand. It's kind of weird. And he pulls my hand over to him towards the street light. And he says, okay, keep talking. I said, what the hell was that? You know, I just met this guy. And he grabs my hand. He goes, I wasn't believing anything you were saying, but you got a ton of grease under your fingernails. And, you know, your knuckles are bleeding, scarred up. He goes, so now I believe you. And so I've adopted that theory. You know, some young kid comes up to me and starts telling about his car. I just say, hold your hand up. Okay,
Right.
keep talking.
Let me see. Are those full of crap? Have you smashed like your thumb completely apart where you have no thumbnail left?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about the grinder cut that goes all the way because you're getting ready for race week and you cut yourself all the way down through here with the grinder. You don't have time to go hospital, so you just dump it full of super glue, pull it together. Put some.
Here we go. Like we gotta go.
Yeah.
And Ernie Ruiz, real quick, wants to know if that shirt neck is cut to regs or not.
Oh, this is great. This is so the first race week I go to, you're out there, you're sweating, and I don't want to look like everybody else. So I cut the sleeves and then I cut this, and I know it's always, bothering the other guys as well as they're making fun of you. But our crew, I will tell you this about our crew. I was wearing Scott Guthrie's Vets Unlimited shirt. This
right.
last time, what was it, June? Sorry, get comfortable, good dog. She's still aching a lot. But anyway.
Yeah, let her do her thing.
Yeah, we were going to the award ceremony, and I look around and all the guys took this year's shirt, cut their necks out, cut the sleeves off, and they just waited for me to notice. And I'm like, thanks, fellas. That makes me feel good. But it's been my signature series, and I don't have to ever buy shirts again because I've been to enough, dragon drives now that my closet is, there's that, that much of my closet is dragon drive shirts.
Right. Yeah, that's my whole life. Like I've got like my regular shirts and my dragon drive shirts, and my regular shirt pile is like this tall. My dragon drive shirt pile is, it's good.
That's awesome. So, anyway, so the whole thing is uniting, getting the guys together. This taco joint that we're doing, and this is why I brought up sick week, is when I find the dates, if it corresponds, I'm going to ask anybody who wants to come to Niceville. I can't house everybody, but I'll do my best. If you're camping, you can camp in my backyard, that type of thing. I've got a few places I'd recommend. But I want, just like when Blaine came here with Guido, and he got some killer content, because he's going from driving Rich Guido's car. That's huge. And we're talking about on the interstate, and he's 15.
Well, and he was 15 at the time.
Then he's here. First, he's at Reggie's house, sliding down the fireman pole that Reggie's boys used to slide down into the kitchen. And then he's hanging at my place. I'm showing off the junk around here. I let him drive my car, which Blaine literally was unsure of my car. He's like, do you feel safe in this thing? I was like, no. But I love it.
I never feel safe in this, but it ain't cool.
Right. Yep. And so I showed him around. Then I gave him the kayaks, and he went out in the bay. And to see this kid from Colorado's eyes light up when I tell him there are bull sharks occasionally swimming through there, and there's definitely gator. I showed him where my gator hangs out down the street. But anyway, what I want to do is, if it falls on taco weekend, I want to ask people to get here Thursday. And then if people want to do it, it adds about an hour and a half to the trip down to Orlando Speedway. But I would love to take the Forgotten Coast. Nobody realizes what a beautiful coastline there is, full of diners, 1950s motels, the old stuff. I mean, you can get alligator bites for dinner, and mullet, which is a fish around here. So it's not an El Camino, it's a fish. Anyway, and I want to do something like that for those who would be willing to add an extra hour and a half. But it's
that could be sweet.
Oh, dude, you're driving 55 miles per hour. Me and my wife just came back from that this weekend. And so, again, just because my thing, the trip there, I drive all the way there and all the way back. Last year, my trip to Nebraska and Colorado ended up being 4,150 miles. And that's
And you do that in the coupe.
Oh yeah, driving that car with this thing right here. Come on, look at him. There you go.
Oh my
I'm
god.
gonna do. But here, I'm gonna do something fun, and then I'll probably let her go in where the air conditioning is.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so what else we talking about? The trip there and the trip back. You want to show them that one video I sent you of my girlfriend?
Oh yeah, let me find it here real quick.
This is quintessential. The adventures in the journey. You know, I mean, not the destination. Um, I rolled up to a gas pump, and here this sweet little lady is in her Suburban. Her son is driving Miss Daisy, and he doesn't even look at my car. It's like, oh, there's a Corvette with a blower, and there's a Model A with a blower.
Right.
And watch this. Hold on. Quick intermission. Man, I'll just do it this way. Angel, you want this egg? Let me move my finger. You want this egg? Get it. Take it outside. She'll literally go out in the yard and play with it.
Hell yeah.
So that's her midnight snack. Okay, so
Yeah, I think I've got it here. Let me see if I can get it. Yes.
but I look for this stuff on the trip. You know, I look for people who are interested. Well, the lady rolls around to the house at me and goes, "What you got in that thing?" You know, and I tell her. And then her and her son go in the store, and he's walking her out by her elbow, and she has a little cane, and she's getting around pretty good for her age. And
Right.
I just roll up and said, "Would you like a ride in this thing?" And her eyes got excited, and she thought, "Yes." So I need every watcher to forward this YouTube video because I'm on a mission. I want to find her. I was an idiot and didn't get contact for her. But I think.
Let's see. I think this is the video, but this lady's great, man.
All right, here we are. I'm almost out of Arkansas, heading down to Mississippi. I met this sweet young lady right here at the gas station. She said, well, if we were hanging out a long time ago, she said, we'd have got in trouble. You like racing? Yes, sir. I love racing. And you had a Corvette? Yes, sir. What do you think about this 700 horsepower coupe? You ready to go for a ride?
I wish you
would. Ride, you baby. Okay, man. We're about to go for a ride. Hang on, kids. How old are you, young lady? Am I allowed to ask that? Yes, baby, yes. Nobody believe it. Everybody step back. They said, no way. What? They said, no way. I said, I want to be like you. I said, can't be like you, there's only one of me. That's right, there's only one of you. I'm 75 years old.
Yeah, it was actually, there's another one where we start out and I'm on the throttle. And she's, just no fear. All right, here we are. I'm on.
Oh man, let me
Almost out of
see.
Arkansas, Mississippi.
Hold on.
If they want to see it, they can go to my Facebook and check it out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it was fun, man.
That ain't it.
Ready?
Yeah, that's totally it.
That's not the thing. I love it.
Get down. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. Not too bad at all. I should watch you about what you drive this thing, make it go a little faster. I know.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Anyone knows how I get a hold of her. I will take her to a dragon drive. She would freaking love it. She'll want to be co-pilot or pilot in everybody's car, man. The one where I got on it and I'm smoking the tires and she's got this look like, yeah, it's good. And then I get off of it, we get it all straightened out, and she goes, get down. Right on. And she just do a little dance and she tells me she used to pull her helmet off and all the guys at the track were like, you're a woman? She goes, I'm a natural born woman. True.
Yeah, all woman or something like that.
Yeah. And all right, let me let this dog in. Come on, Angel. You know what I'm gonna do?
That's so funny.
This is something that I'll show you because Guido and all the guys. Come on, Angel, hurry up. Come on. Now she's looking at me like I'm going to be on TV.
Yeah, and there's food in here. You gave me an egg.
Yeah, I want more. Let me get the camera turned. So one of the things me and my wife do is the mid-century modern.
Right.
So quick tour of this, but this is why I don't get enough done on the car. I'm spread so thin doing everything I can in life. You know, we go on crazy vacations and spend a month in the car. Check this out. This refrigerator is a 56.
Oh, how cool is that?
It has the original Freon in it. No doubt, man. Compressor's never been serviced. This stove
That's
with all
awesome.
the food on it. My wife's probably watching back there going, why is he showing our dirty house? But I
Right.
made the microwave look old. But everything from
Hell
the
yeah.
old farm sink. And then like the furniture is just straight out of the Jetsons, you know. Sorry, I'm going to get a light on in here. Yeah. So
Yeah.
every one of the couches does stuff. That's a small fold out. That's a click clack from Australia. This is my George Jetson chair. So anyway, that's just one of my excuses for not having the car done.
I like you more and more every time.
Come on, Angel. Yeah. Now this is the sad daughter having to go to bed. You can tell everybody bye. You want to tell them bye? Her rear leg.
Stevie loves the fridge.
Oh, cool. Thanks, Stevie. All right, Angel, get in your bed.
Nick Derry says that your kitchen looks like the set from Billy Joel's "We Didn't Start the Fire."
Don't get me talking about the mailbox. So I told you a little bit, Adam, but I'm not giving the whole story. When the group comes on, this is what everybody's got to wait for. This is the cool part. Is one of our best stories from this year is the mailbox. So
okay.
I know what you guys are thinking, but it's not what you think. Anyway, there's a whole lot more to show up in here, but it doesn't have horsepower. So
right.
That when I started doing it, I realized I'm getting old, you know. But anyway, let's get back to the fun stuff. Drag and drive.
Yeah, man. I mean, so let's take a jump back in the Wayback Machine.
Okay.
When did you get into hot rod?
So that's fun. Actually, it's perfect timing because I'm standing right here. So my brother was not known as Billy Schaefer. Here it is. He was known as White Lightning.
Okay.
So he tubbed that thing out in '85. So I was 15 years old. That thing, he was a high schooler when he tubbed it out, when he painted it, he did everything else. And it would run back then, you know, which was, cars were much slower. He was a high schooler doing 820s in the 8th. And with nitrous, he got it down to the high 7s. Well, then I always said, I don't want a car. You know, it's all drama. So me and Dad found this. It was a repo. There it is. This Monte Carlo, I got it for $250, right?
Okay.
And now you see I put flamethrowers on it. And this is actually after I'd owned it a few years. I had a 383, a small blower, propane tank in the back for the flames. I had just joined the military, and this was right when I met my wife, which, the blonde right there, she could cut a light. Man, she cut a 001. First time I let her go down the track. There's some of these where she's beating all my friends when they'd go head to head.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's the best part.
Yeah, so where's it at? There it is. Ain't she cute? She's wearing my helmet. Sorry, the glare is horrible. But I'm out there.
That's all right.
I was in basic training, took out a loan for $750 so I could buy that supercharger. You know, and I had a quadrijet, mismatched plug wires, and I drove it till 6 of the pistons had busted rings, and some of them top and bottom ring. I pulled up next to a colonel, and he's driving a brand new, a 1991 or 92 brand new Mercedes back then. We got on it. I was trying my best to run him down, but I probably burned a quart of oil. He pulls over. I see the colonel from the base, and he goes, "You better get somewhere and put a couple quarts of oil in that thing." Anyway, so then I bought this. This is the Chicken Coupe. I had wanted to leave, and you see how I got it from Florida to Tennessee. Was that tow bar? It had a Camaro.
That tow bar.
Yeah, so I cut the frame off. I didn't have money for tube steel. That's Camaro subframe. My buddy had a T-bucket, and somebody out there is getting on it. Well, anyway, I took the rails off my buddy's cherry picker, okay? and I welded them on that thing. Got them crooked at first. Heated one of them, bent it over. This is the same frame rail that's on it today.
Wow, it's got cherry picker frame rails.
Yes, and then to make it worse, I get a Pinto out of the junkyard. The guy's like, "Yeah, just you know how to run a torch?" I said, "Of course." So I get the torch, and I go back there, and I catch the car on fire. And I had my little nephew out there with me. I'm like, "We got to do what we got to do." So it's a Ford, so we peed on it to put the fire out. But again, that thing served me well. Then this was, raising kids. So he's dressed as a piston. That's my oldest son. And there he is driving his Batmobile. There he is with my dad. So my dad owned a service station. And he was my hero, still is. I'm building a tribute motor to him. I'll tell you in about a minute. But these are what we were doing on the street out there. This is my youngest son, little stud. But so it went from the coupe. No, this is my high school car, 1946 Chevy. And I built a high compressor 406. I had that car doing 840s with a 273 single track.
Wow.
And, I also broke it a lot. So
right, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So what got you into hot rods? Big fender cars and no fender cars, and what the hell?
So, in short, American Graffiti, John Miller.
Okay.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you, so you turn on American Graffiti, you watch it 44 times, and it has an impression on you,
I get it.
Yeah. So this blue Cadillac, it's blue, it's black there, it's blue there. I bought that for my wife on our 10-year anniversary, and she's pissed because I was supposed to finish this restoration last year before her 50th birthday. So you guys pray for me that I can get past my OCD and actually finish it one day.
What is it?
Oh, 60 Cadillac, the same one in that picture. The crazy thing is it's covered with dust. If I wipe that dust off, the car looks chrome. It doesn't look like black. And that's thanks to Steve and Rod Garrett up in Tennessee, the guy I went to high school with, and his dad. So what was I going to show you next? I don't know. There's so much silly stuff. Here I am as a young airman, go to my dad's house, put my truck on his lift. And then the cross member, I was going to weld a hump in it for the 3-inch exhaust. Here's where I shot. Still had a 4-cylinder in it. But I put it on the lift, and I put a transmission jack under a pneumatic jack. It was actually a bumper jack. And I lifted it. Well, Dad didn't tell me it was leaking. I guess he shouldn't have had to. But I turned my back and was rewiring the welder with a different plug. And it slowly but surely pushed it off the rack. And that was a bad day. Let me see. Here's the license plate off my old Monte Carlo. The cops called
Insane
that out.
77. Good.
Yeah. Oh, these hung in my coupe for a long time. Those are my son's socks.
Okay.
And my son is the one. You got the picture. This used to be a V8. It actually broke on this last trip. I was swearing roads, man. God, dog. Yep, there it is. So because my son welded it when he was 6, I'm either going to have him re-weld it or his 7-month-old son, which I might have to wait a year or two for that.
Right.
So anyway, down memory lane, I got in a lot of trouble. And that's actually going through a roadblock. I had just been clocked it over. Well, not clocked. The cop was going 138, and he said I was pulling away from him. That was in the Monte Carlo. And that was without the blower. And look at this prized jewel right there. Hey, I want to thank Jason Hurley, man. And correct me on names, because when I'm talking like this, my memory.
No, you're good. Yep.
Yeah.
Jason and the Juggernaut guys kind of team up and do that Patriots Race Week deal. And it's very cool.
I know a super, super freaking cool guy who wears a black hat and earphones. And he got that also.
I did get that one time. That's true.
That's
true.
It's
It's a very cool award, and I was able to get that give that away this year as well, and Chris Story and
Oh,
Juggernaut got it this year,
I
and
was there.
yeah,
That was stellar, man. I don't know that much about Chris Story's past, but when I saw you hand him that, I was like, yes, that's a good freaking. You know what it was? That's cool. That's what it was.
that is cool. Drink, hey. That is the name of the show. It's That's Cool Drink. I catch up with Dragon Drive dudes, and we kind of dig into their past and whatnot. And we're in the middle with Jason Schaefer here. So, dude, you showed me the blowers and stuff earlier.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you.
You know, I mean, talk to us about the Chicken Coupe. What brought it along, and where, like, you know, what engine combinations it's kind of been through, and what it's sporting today.
Okay, so there I was, young airman. First baby was on the
There I
way.
was, nipple deep in hand grenade pins.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, we got different ones in the Air Force, but basically, main motto is if it ain't broke, fix it till it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that applies to everything in the Air Force. So, my wife's pregnant. It was 1992. Okay. I'm sorry, 1993. My son was going to be born in November. Sorry. I need more beer.
Yeah.
No.
More aiming fluid.
Yeah. So I'm going to take that 1 month of leave and build this car that I just bought from an old guy. I paid way too much for it for back then. And it's a basket case. Therefore, I never even want to fix it. Like all the dents in the ceiling, he must have got pissed off because his metal was warping. He was brazing everything. So there's excessive. He put a 1/4-inch firewall in that car. Still has it to this day. Jeez. People say, how's that car 3,000 pounds? All the floorboards were almost all the floorboards were 1/8-inch steel. There was 11 cross members in this car. I said, what were you doing? He goes, I just wanted it really strong. If I wrecked, he says, I'm just going to do parades with it. And I nudged the car, I said, I'll save you,
Right,
and,
right.
So I tow it behind the Monte Carlo with that bumper hitch. The alignment was off on that Camaro subframe so bad that I had to rotate my tires front to back, and I wore out 4 tires to the point on threads were showing on all of them. Now on 500-mile trip, but I got there in 3 weeks. I had that car almost rolling. I pulled the motor out of my daily driver Monte Carlo, and with the I built the frame rails out of the cherry picker and the Pinto front end, and I wired the car in 3 weeks. I built these silly little bumperettes and put switches and steering column, and then I was working on the brakes and trying to finish the column, and my grandpa died. I was like, this sucks. So we had to go to Chicago, took care of grandma, did the things you're supposed to do, put the car away. I told my brother, I said, how soon can you finish that brake pedal and that steering column? He said, week or two, between work and long hours. And he fixed them for me. Then my wife's girlfriend said, and by the way, her husband and I, crazy story, we used to drag race in Tennessee when we were kids. And then I joined the military, and I come in, and that's when I started racing when I was on leave into Monte Carlo. And I tore him up, well, as it goes, they learn, and they go faster and faster. He joined the Air Force, got stationed right down the street from me. His wife and my wife are best friends. So she gives me a ride to Tennessee, drops me off at my house, untested. I jumped in that car, completely untested, and drove it 500 miles back to Florida.
Hell yeah.
Then my wife had the baby, and I just wanted to drive the car. So I'm going by the flight line, taking her to the hospital in the coupe. And I was like, I don't want your water to break and you mess up the Buick seat. So let's just take these hard racing seats. I'm going by the flight line. I kicked it in neutral. I revved it up at 1 a.m. So my buddy was on the wing of the C-130 waving at me. And I get to the hospital. They're not even paying attention to my wife. They're calling me Fonzie. She's making fun of me.
Yeah, she's like, dude, screw you.
Yeah, I'm trying to have a baby here, And I've always been really stupid. Yeah,
it happens. It happens to the best of us.
Right. So, but I got to bring the baby home, not in the coupe. And I raised both them boys in that car, so they would literally fall asleep. There was no floorboard in the back. Their shoestrings could get caught in the drive shaft. There is a floorboard now because it's blocked off from the seat.
Right.
So my kids are falling asleep in the car. My one son hand goes down and bumps the tire, because we're doing these long road trips to Pigeon Forge and all that. And this is where I met Reggie. Okay. It's a little bit after that, I get stationed in Arkansas. And when I'm in Arkansas, I meet James first with Sketchy T.
Mm-hmm.
And we're street. I mean, he's got faster cars, but for some reason.
Oh no, I lost him. His battery must have died or something. Damn it. Okay, we'll wait for him to get back. I can't wait to hear this story. James Zajac has got the Sketchy T. I didn't know they knew each other before all this crap was going down. That's going to be fun to hear about. This is going to be super cool. I had no idea that Reggie and James and them cats all knew each other before drag and drive type stuff. So we'll let him get his phone redone and fired back up. But it was so cool to see Angel, you guys. Like, man, how cool is that? James is boring. Well, he just doesn't do 10-foot wheelies, Reggie. That's what it is. But we got to see Angel, and yet we do have good news on Angel. She's on her way back to good. She did have a little scare there, and she is an old puppy dog. So she's gonna kind of have that going down. But if you guys haven't seen Angel, man, Angel's a saint. She's an awesome pup dog, and we got Mr. Schaefer back. Yes. Yeah. Did your battery die?
It just dropped right out of the app.
Yeah. Well, anyway, whatever. No big deal.
Yeah. Thanks for waiting on me.
Nick says that your Wi-Fi must be from the 50s, like your fridge.
Yeah, but I'm still way older than all that stuff.
But no, so you were street racing with James and with Reggie, and I didn't know you knew those guys before then. So.
Oh yeah, so I met James in '99, and we grudge. I mean, to this day, when we go to the track, I'm like, I'm faster. I said, you weren't on that pass where you missed the gear or whatever.
Right.
But we're still, everybody in the group's pissed at him because he's upgrading. So we don't get to see Sketchy for a year or two, and it's actually going to be a different car, much faster.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he's building another Sketchy 2.0.
And Dan Fernan says that you had the coupe in a 12x16 shed in your backyard. Opened up the end for the garage door at Eglin Air Force Base, Lemon Lot.
Yeah. We lived in a little trailer and had Thor. And then Dan, the guy just texted, he's awesome. Tell Dan he's got to get out there and join us, doesn't he?
Yeah, Dan does. Let's go.
Yeah, he's got 11 or 13 cars to choose from. I just drove to Key Largo and picked up a 65 Mercury Cyclone for Dan. So
nice. Yeah, I won't make fun of you very much for the Air Force or for the Ford stuff, but but come with us, come party.
Yeah. So his house got wiped out, not wiped out, but got damaged from one of the hurricanes, and so I bought his place. So then my wife had a second kid. So anyway, too much info. Where was I at? So meet Reggie. Reggie hasn't had a hot rod for himself. Okay, he's taking care of the family, entrepreneuring, getting moving, all these business opportunities, and doing very well. He had Corvette kids. His kids at a very young age, between 4 and 8 years old, or 8 and 11, whatever, between the youngest and oldest. Those kids were selling stuff on eBay, probably making more money than I was at the time.
Right.
But they've always been extremely hardworking family. And I said, Reggie, I need you to do exhaust on this Monte Carlo, not my original one, but the one my son fixed up, which is a show car now.
Right.
I said, could you guys, could you do my exhaust for me? It's got to be legal for Europe. He said, bring it over. I put it in his garage, and we went to church together. Now, this is the man that goes out to the car show and shaves flames into his beard, right? When we first started hanging out. And he's the deacon at the church. So the deacon at the church, I'm like, I love this guy, man. He's got attitude. He's just hilarious.
He's got flames in his beard. Life is like, let's go.
What else do you want? He had a guy sit up and straddle the tunnel ram on the Model A on the organ grinder. and pinstripe it. And the guy's a famous pinstripe artist, Flamin' Freddy. I don't know if you've heard
Okay.
of it. Anyway, so I said, how much I owe you for the exhaust? He said, nothing. I said, no, that ain't going to work. He said, I'll fight you over right in the parking lot. And just, just good to me. He said, I'm going to miss you and your family. And so the only thing I could do is I went home, picked up a, which magazine? Speedway Motors magazine. And I ordered him. Now, you got to remember, he had in his muffler shop the organ grinder sitting on a pallet, just the body. And he had it since he was, I think, since 78, something like that. He got it when he was 13.
So he just had Henry Ford steel just sitting on a pallet, doing nothing, just waiting.
He'd had it since he was, I think, 17, whatever, since a teenager.
Yeah, he's like 97 years old now. So I mean, he's had that thing 80 years.
Yeah, I think he's a little older than that, but we won't.
He might even be 114. But
yeah, he's older. Like he's over 100, and the car's only 100. So I think he bought it brand new. So,
anyway. He knew the guy that bought it brand new.
So next thing you know, in the mail, he gets 2 chrome giant headlights and 2 of the aluminum finned headlight pedestals and whatever else. I got him 2 or 3 more things. He said, no, you weren't supposed to do that. I said, that's not for you doing the exhaust. I said, that's for next year. You're coming to the rod run. Anyway, I go to Germany, and we're supporting the entire frickin' war effort with C-130 engines, all from that location. Who's over the JEIM section of the engine shop? Me.
That guy.
Who do they put in charge of? And I was tech sergeant. And they put me in charge of all these senior guys because those guys are only there 3 months and I'm stationed. So I needed leave so I could go to that show, and there was no way. Okay, we went from doing 3 or 4 engines a month to doing 26, 28. So I was working on my second nervous breakdown. But boss called me and he said, Jason, you can have that leave. And I said, dang, that's 10 days. I called Reggie, said, Reggie, I know I told you I wasn't coming in, but I'll be in 10 days. I said, you're going to have that coupe done? I'll do what I can. He stopped eating. He stopped sleeping. He pulled the motor out of his daily driver pickup, similar to what I did. He built the organ grinder in 10 days. Wow. Showed up at my dad's shop in the backyard. He had 1 right rear brake, a 1973 California license plate, nothing remotely close to having glass or windows or anything. He built the headers. He built the wishbones. He built everything from scratch. And we couldn't get a fan belt on it quick enough, so we just put some pantyhose on there because it didn't have his brackets down. Yeah.
You just happen to have pantyhose sitting around. I mean, why not?
Yeah. Never mind. That was.
Arkansas. It's cool. And he says that he's a high mileage 64 model.
Yeah. So
it took him 4 days, Sunday night to Thursday night, to build the organ grinder.
Yeah, roughly. It's I know his wife said he lost like 15, 20 pounds.
And he doesn't have 15 pounds to lose, man. Reggie is not a big dude.
Well, you can look really anorexic to get your car running. But what was crazy, we couldn't get him to eat. So he pulls in my dad's shop. We're putting pantyhose on it. We're running wires. We're running the fuel line. Our car has not been fired up yet. And we're going to drive 2.5 hours. What should have been an hour and a half, but he had a 1930 radiator that a guy gave him, original, that had been sitting in a barn. We were pouring water in it every 3 or 4 miles. Maybe not that soon, but
right. But like it's leaking like a sieve
as fast as we can pour it in. And so that was where me and Reggie started this brotherly hot rod thing, where if he said, Jason, can you come to Nebraska and tow me home? I'd be like, all right, I'm leaving in 10 minutes.
Yeah, let's go. Like, let's make it happen.
Well, I'll put it this way. And Rich Guido got a kick out of this. Rich didn't know Reggie was here. Rich is a big fan of the organ grinder, straight shift, naturally. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I tell him, hey, I want you to come here and stop in. So this was 2021, I think. We're doing sick week. That's his first year, I believe.
Right.
And, excuse me. So Rich Guido pulls in with the GTO, and I didn't know who was sitting in his back seat. Just another Canadian. His front seat was his dad. Can't not know that.
Right.
But when he pulls in, they break out their camera because they hear a car fire in my backyard. Because Reggie lives in my backyard, like I don't know, every 2 months.
Every once in a while, whenever he feels like it.
Yeah, in an Airstream in my backyard. He comes down here and works on all my friends' cars, has a blast, sits on the beach. You know what I mean? I go to his place and sitting on the front porch drinking coffee. It's just like this perfect exchange of little vacation home.
Yeah, exactly. As one does.
Yeah. So we Rich is like, oh my God, the organ grinder. And he's running back there like to get Reggie's autograph. Then we're in there having dinner, and he's got this crazy Canadian in there, and I don't know the guy. And then Scott Guthrie comes over to have dinner with us, and Scott goes, I know you from somewhere. And the guy starts chuckling. No, I really do. Where do I know you from? You said you've never been down here? He said, no. The guy says, have you ever seen a Mustang with 8 turbos? He's like, oh my God, you're Kyle Williams. I'm getting names mixed up.
Yeah, Kyle Williams. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
some boosted lifestyles in my house, taking pictures of all the blowers on the shelves,
Hell yeah. And Kyle's good shit. Like, that dude's super good. He's a drag and drive dude. They just got done with Miles of Mayhem up there.
Yep. And I think I don't know, I read a little bit of he was fighting some, like his wife got sick.
His wife/girlfriend got sick, and then he was too fast for his cert, and there was some weirdness. But whatever, man. I mean, that dude's a solid dude, and yeah, I mean, it like you said, like he just shows up out of nowhere, riding in the back of Guido's car, and like he's just like, we're just along for the ride, man. So
right.
Real quick, Doug Floyd, dude, I'm not going to be up in Michigan. I will be at the Fastest Streetcar reunion with the Hot Rods by Havlicks guys in Iowa. We'll be back at Earlville at Tri-State, where we were with Six Summer. But that's cool that you'll be up there, dude. Congratulations. Doug does some of the videoing for Dr. Tunawall, but he got hooked up with the Freedom Plus dudes, and he's been doing some work with them. So good up for you for getting that job, Mr. Floyd. Great job, dude.
I don't know if you heard yourself, Adam. You said that's cool.
Drink.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, man.
Where are we? So anyway, I was warped after. So when the street racing started for me was when I was out there with my brother, and he was White Lightning. That's what people knew him as.
Right.
Well, I didn't have a name either. I was White Lightning's little brother. And this is back in the day when your Mallory tack was so awesome that it had one dial for your shift light and one dial was
for your launch.
No, but this is way before that. This is when you had Unilight distributors.
Okay, all right.
So this is middle of the 80s, and he had the latest technology, and I can't remember what the second dial was for.
Didn't they have one that had a rev limiter?
Yep, that's what it was.
That was in the tack?
Yeah, but the problem was it was not compatible with other things like
it had to work with a Unilight, like only, period.
Yeah, and so he couldn't figure out, what was causing it, and until he did, and he was broke down, and this guy with this badass Monza, it's got the most latest and greatest matching intake, carburetor, and cylinder heads from Edelbrock. They matched. You could buy a package. This was smoking hot deal, right? So this kid from Tennessee puts this on his Monza, which is untubbed, and he says, Billy, I want to race you, White Lightning. Billy's like, if you can't beat my brother, then you don't need to race me. He didn't tell the guy he was broke, And so he put me out there in that gray 46 Chevy, which right now has 671 under the hood. So it's gotten better through the years. And I just bought it back off my brother. He owned it for 20 years. So Billy gets me into street racing. And when Max, the guy in the Monza, said, we're going quarters, I said, no, we're going eighth. I had a 411 gear, and
Right.
I mean, if I over revved it in third, it would just shatter the bell housing and spit parts out the back. And don't ask me how I know. But, so anyway, I did not want to go anywhere close to the quarter because he was going to blow by me because he had a matched intake and matched cylinder heads and cam. I don't think he had an Elbrock carburetor, but regardless.
Either way, Nick also real quick wants to know. He thought your nickname was Grease Lightning.
No, it's when they come up with the song. Actually, Nick is the one that said it. Stroker Ace. I'll go by Stroker Ace, Nick.
Stroker Ace.
Yeah, that's the song we played in the background of that video, the burnout video. But anyway, this guy sent his friends to mark the finish line, so you know what happens. And I about blew that car up because I didn't let up till I got past that marker that they were at. And when I wasn't able to let off, I kept tension on it so I wouldn't break the transmission again, you know, just from letting off too hard because it was the opinion horrible. I was built wrong. I mean, I built my headers with pieces of tailpipe and welding them together with coat hanger. And I was 17 years old, wearing the denim jacket with frills on the side. So I caught myself on fire a few times.
Right, because you're Fonzie. You are Fonzie.
I'm so smart. Yeah. The greatest thing about
my
yeah. Whoa.
Hey, I'm on fire. Hey.
So, no, man, my dad's got this shop. It's so cool. It's like the hangout in my small town. And I want to give a shout out to Eric Elsroth. I think he's watching. That guy used to cruise me around town in his 57 Chevy, and he's wearing checkerboard Vans. And
who's cooler than the dude with the 57 Chevy with checkerboard Vans?
And a straight shift, yeah. And so, Eric, if you're watching, thanks, brother. Okay, so here we are at the shop, and I might have lit myself on fire a few times, but when you have the pneumatic hoist, that one pole coming up out of the ground with the four legs, old school, and you have two little girls that want to come over and flirt with you while you're trying to work. Oh, wow, does that work? I'm like, yes, it does. Get on there. I lift them up in the air. They're wearing mini skirts, just the late 80s. And then I'm like, hey, guys.
Yeah, Mama didn't raise no fool.
There's like 5 guys around the corner. Anyway, again, I'm stupid. But so it's cool the way I grew up. You know what I mean? I used to watch street racing, 300 cars out of the junction. One night, me and my buddy just raced, and cops showed up. And in my car, I beat this SS Impala. And the cop looks at us and said, no. What were you guys doing out here, watching races? Yes, sir. You didn't race these, did you? I said, dude, this thing looked like it would race.
This looked like this pile of junk? Come on.
And he goes, yeah, I guess you're right. He left me alone.
It's like, have you seen I'm sure you have, the movie called Hot Rod?
Oh, it's the Hot Rod 1979, not the comedian one. Yeah,
right.
Where the guy puts a 426 Hemi in a Willys coupe.
That might be it. I think that's right. But there's a section where this guy is taking a girl for a ride in his car, and she's like, "Open it up," and he's like, "It is open. This is it."
I don't remember. No, I don't remember that. I know
it's earlier. I think it might be earlier. It's black and white. It's called Hot Rod.
Really?
I'll see if I can find it. But it's so good. I stumbled upon it one day, probably hungover, and it's worth watching. It's super good.
Okay, it's breaking up a little on that.
Let's see if I can. It's 1956.
Really?
Oh no, that's Hot Rod Girl. That's not it. That's not it.
Drag strip girl. I know all. I mean, I think I've watched every Hot Rod movie ever made. But the scene I remember from Hot Rod 1979, he's in a Willys coupe. He put they forced him off the road. He wrecks his what was that first car? Dang it. Anyway, he puts 426 in a Willys coupe, and then the new girl that he's dating, he steals her away from the bad guys because they're just taking they're taking all the fun and selling it back to you, you know. And I use references like that when I see guys like Matt Frost who absolutely give back. Those are the guys I want to be around, you know. And we could get. I'm not going to say anything negative about anybody. I'm just going to say you can tell the difference in the people that are just trying to grow the business end of it versus the people that are supporting each other, you know, as this grows. That's not Hot
This
Rod
is
Girl.
it.
That's just Hot Rod. Okay.
Nope.
I see.
Nope. This
I
is
see.
Hot Rod. 1950 Hot Rod.
Wow.
This is the movie I stumbled upon, and it is absolutely fantastic. It's terrible, but good all at the same time.
Yep.
You can tell by the 5.9 stars that it has, but this is it.
Okay.
His dad is his dad and doesn't want him to be a hot rod kid. Yeah, juvenile court judge. Yep, exactly.
That's so
This
cool.
is it.
So
This is good.
here's a fun.
Yep. He's got a
little-
32, so he's got a deuce coupe or a deuce roadster.
I'm watching.
And
that,
you should check that out. 1950 Hot Rod.
Okay, so there was a movie called The Fast and the Furious in 1953 or 52.
Okay.
And that's not the same plot as the new Fast and Furious. But
right.
There was also a Hot Rod movie in 56 or 7. It showed, and this is how you could Google it. It had the guy that built Batmobile. God, my brain is horrible.
I can't remember. I have no idea. I can't remember his name. Yes, yes.
Started by building Mercs. And this movie featured 2 of his first Mercs, a convertible and a hardtop. And the plot of that movie is identical to the Fast and Furious. So, I see all these tributes where they're paying homage to the older movies and stuff, and songs. I'm big into history. Speaking of history, can I throw a little plug out there?
Yeah, please do.
So, I'm not going to do it now, but there's a photograph of my dad, and he's standing next to his 36 Ford, and he didn't mean to do it. He used to tell us he was so ashamed, but he bought a stolen motor. It was stolen right out of a 56 Cadillac off the dealership lot. You could do that back then. There was no cameras. There's hardly any street lights. Right. So these guys, and I knew a lot of guys in my hometown where there's moonshine still out back. There's a county cop car getting worked in the front. There's marijuana being grown. People were stealing the moonshine. They whipped up a bad batch. 2 guys died. When they died, this is how I grew up. When they died, the Monte Carlo, it was a 76 that they were driving. The boss let the employee drive this Monte Carlo. Then he's dead from alcohol poisoning, from a bad batch of alcohol because he was stealing it. And this guy with the shop was a chop shop, right? Right. So I'm around all this, but my dad knew he needed to teach us boys right. There's 3 of us. And so he told me, he said, son, I've never been more ashamed when I found out that was a stolen engine. Then he cut panels and made hood panels to cover it up. It was a 56 Cadillac motor in 1957. Right. So I get this cool picture of my dad in boots holding a ratchet extension or some type of pry bar. He's got his hair totally pompadoured, you know what I mean? And that was right before he built the panels.
As one does.
Right. So you would expect me to say, okay, I got to have respect for this, for the history. But this is what a lot of people in hot rodding today don't know enough about the history,
For sure.
Yeah. Sure. And I was going to send you a video, but I knew it would get kind of lengthy and maybe boring for some people. And that's why they haven't watched the history yet. But man, so going just, I'm going to do this right here. Switch it over. So I bought it. My dad was a foreigner.
Shoot, I just I'm sorry, real quick while you're doing that. The 1950 version of Hot Rod, the entirety is available on YouTube. It's an hour long. You can watch the entire thing. Hot Rod, the feature film 1950, is available for free on YouTube. And thanks to Sean also for that.
Cool.
If you want that link, go to my Facebook page. You'll find this live stream on my Facebook page, and you can click on the link, and it's on there. It's the entire movie. It's all black and white, and it's great.
No, while you guys are at it, look up Hot Rod 1979.
Right.
And it's also free on YouTube. And it's got a clean cut, nice little story behind it. Brian is doing it for the passion and love of racing, but he's up against Sonny Munns and Munn's Root Beer, who are
Yep.
monopolizing off of drag racing. But going back to knowing and trusting and learning the history, that is an actual Snowflake 409 dual quad intake, like what my dad had on his 409. And then a man, I'll show you his picture in just a second, that was running chain drive blowers on a small block.
Yeah, check that. You can see the chain. It's a single link chain on that thing. That's wild. So I've seen pictures of those. I've never, and that's not true. I have seen one run, but it was on a 471. And I think it was on like maybe a little 283, and it was like a car show car.
Well, check this out. So we lost Foy, the hot rodding community, last year. And this guy was one of the first people to run 9-second quarter in Southeast. They used to pay him to drive 10 hours down to Miami and race for the big crowds. And this guy, he said, I don't like 409s. I said, the 409 is a tribute to my dad. I said, but I want a chain-driven 671 homemade intake like you used to run. And so that was the last job he had in his shop. And he's 90% done with it, so I can finish the rest. And honestly, I could have done it myself, but I wanted his hands on there. You know, I wanted that 409 to be very similar to what Dad would have been doing. You know,
right, yeah, absolutely. If you guys don't know, 348 and 409, that was that's the OG big block Chevrolet. It's not the rat motor that you know today, but back in the day, a 348 was the big block to a 283. The 409 was a big block to a 283/327. So it was a crazy motor. They were super neat. They had the W valve covers, but what really set them apart from anything else was they had no combustion chambers in the heads. They were flat. So the valves and the bottom of the head were completely flat, like a diesel would be, and the piston was cut like at an angle to create a combustion chamber. It was wild for the time. My first car was a '59 Chevy, and it had a 348. Well, second car. I had a '71 Mustang first.
Every time I'm watching you, every show that I've gone back and looked at, just this week, just listening to how you get the content to flow. You're good at this, man. But what blows my mind,
Thank you.
To start off with this, how do you know so much about? If they're talking Honda motors, you know about it. If they're talking different series, Mopar, then anything. It's like, how does he?
I'm like you. I'm a historian. I'm an enthusiast. I like all this stuff. I've got and really it comes down to I've got friends that have done everything, and I pay attention to them. I absorb what they're doing because they're doing cool stuff, and I don't care if it's a 1.6 liter 4-cylinder motor making 500 horsepower, or it's a mountain motor, Mopar thing. I absorb this stuff. So it's the same with me. It's a historical deal. I grew up with people that appreciate the hot rod kind of culture. One of my buddy's dad's friends has a shop that's 33 by 34 because he likes 33 and 34 Fords. It's full of 33 and 34 Fords, and the shop is 33 by 34. It's like it's built that way on purpose because
that's freaking cool.
This is what these people do, and I've learned I can do points. I've got a dwell meter in my in my toolbox. I can do carburetors. I've got a Holly jet kit. I've got a very well-rounded kind of background with this stuff, and it's cool because I can speak intelligently, at least semi-intelligently, about a bunch of different stuff that's out there, and it's fun. I like it. I really just like hot rodding. I like people that like to work with their hands and do what we do, and I don't care what your medium is. I like it. I'm a fan of you if you do it, and I soak it up.
That's why I like the whole United thing. You know what I mean? I don't care if somebody wants to have a grudge, Ford versus Chevy or American versus import. That's great. There's nothing wrong with a good friendly competition, just like me and James.
Yeah, you got to.
Yeah, me and James are always pushing each other to go a little faster, but it's to the point where you can't hate them because it takes the fun out of the game. It adds drama, and there's one thing I hate watching. I'm not a good spectator on any of this, but I hate watching these TV shows where they sell people or they sell it with the drama. People actually like watching it, over dramatic.
Yeah, and it's sort of like Tony Angelo. Love him or hate him, he's a YouTube kind of guy. He's doing some crazy stuff, but he's got a shirt that says "We're going to lose the shop," and it's making fun of all the shows that are like,
Oh,
if we don't finish this card, we're going to lose the shop, because
that's funny.
it was never, it's just built in drama. It's not real life stuff. You're never going to lose the shop, and
Right.
the ghost team of 40 mechanics are going to show up and finish your car while you go get your makeup
Right. Yeah.
fixed up
No,
before
for
you
sure.
do the big reveal. But it's a Tony's shirt is brilliant for sure, and it's definitely a thing that's been lost a little bit. Is it? All of these people are building this drama, and it's been in racing TV, and it's been in car show TV, and it's just been there's been so much of building the drama that if you
Right.
actually get into the world of it, and you're not one of the standing on the sidelines kind of guys and watching the TV shows, that that none of that actually exists. Like, we're all just enjoying each other and having fun and ribbing each other for sure.
Yeah.
I'll make fun of you if you buy a Mopar
Oh,
because you were about to be poor. I mean, poor, but they're cool. Like, I'm for it. It's a cool deal.
well, just ripping on each other. It's like the best parts of the old 1320 was when somebody broke down. And you watch a bunch of those right when they walk up on the scene. The owner is frustrated, but the content just gets funnier and funnier because the three friends in the back are dogging him out,
Right.
And
Right.
so I think the
Yeah,
most
Scott
we
Guthrie
laughed.
wanted to remind you of when he outran you with the Great Pumpkin.
Oh, sweet, thanks, Scott.
So yeah, so you suck for that. And
What?
and Reggie wants to remind me that I have a girlfriend that looks like my daughter, and that's
Yeah,
cool.
that's
So we'll
still
drink.
that's cool. That's
Hmm.
so funny. He was at the restaurant. That was the first time he met you, and I wasn't
That
even
was the
there, but
first time. Yep, we were at the
I've heard
Perkins.
his
We were at Great
stories.
Bend, Kansas,
I've
and
heard
and
his story.
Reggie came and just like kind of bellied up and pulled up next to us at the Perkins, and we had a big table. Like, I think we were a table of 4, and it was just me and Stevie. And here comes Reggie, and he goes, "You're doing a great job, and I really appreciate what you're doing here, and I'm so happy that you brought your daughter out."
Yeah,
Right.
and don't
Did we
worry,
lose? Are we good? We
that
caught back
happens.
up. We're caught back up. But anyway, so that was the first time. That was the first time I met Reggie, and then I can't remember if I cursed at him then, but then I found out later that he's a God fearing church man, and yeah,
Let
yeah,
me tell you.
not spectacular, but so Reggie and I and Stevie have a thing now, but yeah, and what's funny is too is I rescued Reggie's daughter.
Oh,
Her
that's
alternator went
funny.
out in her truck,
Yeah.
and I rescued it. Yeah, I actually rescued his daughter, and I was just trying to think of some way that I could like tell your old man, like something. But she was such a nice lady that I just had to like fix her truck and just
Oh no,
go.
his daughters are amazing. So let me tell you this. I heard that story 150 times because Reggie thought it was hilarious, and we're all making fun of him for putting his shoe in his mouth. But you burned him all week with that from the
Yeah,
microphone. You
well,
never
and that's
pissed
the
off the guy with the
you
microphone.
never piss off the dude with the microphone. That's the stupidest thing you could do ever. And yeah,
But
so
Reggie,
and basically, and he told me too. He said pretty much all you're doing is making fun of me all week, and I guess I deserve that, which is
well,
fine.
what's awesome though is what he say to you. The waitress came over and said, "What does he having?" And he pointed to the same thing he's having. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. No.
whatever he's having, because he's doing something
Uh,
right.
and then so I don't know. Maybe we'll all exchange stories when the whole group gets on here. But man, you take Reggie in any restaurant, and it just something to do with the waitress demeanor and how much salt they put on something or whatever. But he keeps everybody in stitches, but somewhat embarrassed. Like,
Right.
I can't believe you just said that to her.
Did
Like,
well, he's from Arkansas. You have to like tell people up front, like he's from Arkansas. He hasn't been around very many people, and yeah.
so
And
okay.
and again, how about him singing the national anthem at Tulsa?
Oh,
Like that dude,
flipping awesome.
man, laid it down.
Yeah. No, he surprised all of us. He said he was going to
Yes.
go there early and handle some business, and then none of us know it's him. He's up there singing the national anthem. We're like, okay, this is cool. Somebody volunteered to go up there, and then you let the cat out of the bag. I'm like, what? But
That
see,
was Reggie.
yeah, but no, I've like his wife, and by the way, there's an age difference between them. So he's, dating someone who looks a lot younger and is a lot younger, and dating, married to. But man, she can sing. Their whole family is just very talented.
Hell yes.
But I know you've probably got questions that you want to drill down, or are we at a good pace? Or?
No, I mean, yeah, let's kind of get rolling. Again, it's organic. I just run with it. We just make it happen. My back hurts less when I have more of these, and so I'm on. Like, let's go.
Okay.
When did you guys decide? Like, when I say you guys, I guess I assume it's kind of the universal you guys. When did you guys decide drag and drive? Like, when are you going to bring this bull crap out and drive it down the road now?
So I don't know how well you know about this, but Reggie has longtime friend of Dennis Taylor. Okay.
Yep.
And he worked for Dennis for a year or so. Dennis is so good at what he does. He expects everybody else to be able to do that. Right.
Right.
I'm embarrassed sometimes rolling up there in my car, but I've gone by the Taylors a lot. The last time I was hauling a barn find of barn finds. And I got Dennis and Alex to come out and look at it. They were very impressed. It's sitting three doors down the street in my neighbor's yard. And the mother inherited it. The mom inherited it from her dad. Anyway.
Okay.
So I go, so it's 2020, right? That was the first year that Hot Rod Drag Week was politically correct.
Right.
And started backing out because, and I understand, on their platform. But God, again, another thing I love about Matt Frost is he said, no, we need to show America that we're not getting locked up, that we're going to safely and politely do this, you know? And I remember his speech on opening day, because basically when he announced it, Dennis Taylor called Reggie, or they talk about every day, and said, Reggie, now's your chance. You need to get that hunk of junk out there, but you hadn't done it right, so there's no way you're going to make it. He says, but you still need to come out and try. Well, you don't tell Reggie he can't do something. And you just don't. He'll drive it on two wheels, leaning out the window.
Yeah, on fire with his uncomfortable seats in it. And
And people don't realize what a good driver he is. I mean, that man can drive. So we show up first day. Now, here's Reggie pleaded with me. Jason, I want you to get your car out and let's do this. And I just wasn't in a good spot. Call it mental breakdown type. Since I got
back, it is what it is.
Yeah, I'd gotten back from Afghanistan. Both my parents died. I tried to nurse them back to health. I got no faith in everything from all the plastic food they serve us to everything else. Like
government and I mean, right. Yeah, as one does.
Yeah. So I'd grown this funky, weird beard, and I was cutting my hair, shaving it on one side like a Viking haircut. I'd just go out on the road and just drive. Like my Suburban out here, I put, what is this? 6,000, 4 or 5? I don't know. I drove it 5,000 or 6,000 miles this month, just this month, because I wouldn't even add my last trip this last weekend. But I was in this spot where I couldn't get out of this funk. And I said, no, Reggie, we need to figure out drag and drive. What we don't need is twice the breakdowns. We've never done this before. Dennis is telling you you're not going to make it, because that's what happens. So between me and you, we can keep this thing on the road. There was times when the bolt would fall out of his clutch pedal and we'd be going down the road. He couldn't downshift, but I would be reaching down, trying to get the bolt.
Trying to, attach the clutch pedal.
Or I'm standing up out of the roof and I'm looking down on the engine bay and either, getting the throttle to return or whatever. So I'm glad we did it that way. He still swears up and out, maybe because I'm a horrible passenger and I'm bad at navigating, but I did some good freaking videos. I
Hell yeah.
put me and Reggie on the map. Every time we pulled on the track, 1320 would run up to us. First day was, oh my God, this is so cool. And he told the story behind it. And they were respectful. Second day, what? You're still on the road?
You this piece of crap made it?
Yeah. Every day 1320 did that, right? And Alex and Dennis, they were working, as they always do, because they're proactive about fixing it before it breaks, you know?
Well, and their cars are all mean as hell. I mean,
Oh,
they don't have, not a one of their cars is slow.
right. But
Yeah.
every day, Dennis had that, what? You're not broke yet, you know? And then the real redemption came in on the next Dragon Driver, maybe 2 later, when Dennis broke his Retro Nova.
Right.
And Reggie was right there with the toe strap in the organ grinder to pull it back.
I'm ready to get you off the road.
And Dennis took it like a man. He's like, yeah, help me out. So we've had these really, really fun. And that's where we got started. If you go back to that 2020 Rocky Mountain Race Week, it was actually 2.0. If you go back to that on my Facebook, you'll see, I'll put it this way, Reggie accidentally crossed lanes right in front of Leroy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And when Cletus did his thing at the finish line or whatever, he came back after Reggie. Reggie's already out of the car, sitting in a lawn chair. We didn't know who this guy was, except he was some guy with a paparazzi. You know, we'd never heard of Cletus before. He only had 2 million viewers back then, maybe 2.6, you know, but that's just
something like only,
yeah.
Right.
So we're, you know, anyway, this day 2 or day 3 in, so we kind of get an idea who he is. And Reggie just screams out, hey, sorry if I scared you, Cletus. But on that race week, and then I fed Cletus some chicken. This is where I really, really had a load of respect for him. It's the next morning, I got a Facebook friend request from Garrett Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, who else do you know that got a personal Facebook invitation from Cletus? You know?
Right.
And so when more I learned about how big he was, it was really cool that I thought, man, he's really down to earth. He took the time out to message me. Well, a lot of it's because my videos were really good. So I videoed Uncle Chet. I'm hanging out of the roof of Reggie's car doing 50. We nail it next to the Lamborghini. And, you know, it starts pulling hard. But I got a great video of it just getting 2 or 3 miles ahead of us before Chet ever let out of it. But then there's videos of us pulling up to these guys we never met before at a gas station. And it was a NASCAR truck and Leroy. And there's videos of 1320 in their car videoing me while I'm videoing them, you know.
Right.
And so this is our very first introduction to Dragon Drive. And what we both loved about it more than anything is driving. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because we're not.
Just getting out with your bud and in a car that's super cool, and you burn miles, man. Right. I mean, you have, that's when you have those conversations. You talk, you know, that's when you become family. You're as close to family as blood won't allow, and it's
a family of heroin addicts. You know,
right, and just junkies, just speed, horsepower junkies, and you're with 600 people in 300 cars that are exactly like you, and
every
what better way to live that?
Right, there's gas stations I pulled into that had just at the pumps well over 10,000 horsepower.
Right,
you know,
right,
because there's 10, 12 pumps, and there's turbocharged cars at every one.
Yeah, there's 2,000 horsepower at each thing, and you're like, holy crap, man. And Reggie says there's no talking in his car, and I believe that. That's probably true.
Well, go back and watch the videos. You can see me screaming at him, and all you can hear is the header popping and cracking, and then and I'm having to stick my head like 6 inches from his ear and yell to him. But so you know,
so I gotta know. This is one I ask all my people here. Tell me about the one that got away. What car did you sell you should have sold?
I've still got almost all my cars.
That's a thing. That is a
Yeah.
thing. Like
Yeah.
I keep getting on all the at 50 of these, probably 25 people are like, I never sold nothing ever, never once.
Yeah. So, I sold project cars. I like to get closure. I recently sold a round tube chassis, 34 fiberglass car, the 3-window, and my biggest regret on having to sell that one, but I just have too many cars. I got like 18 project cars, and I'm
Right.
down to 14. I sold a fiberglass dirt track 33 Chevy to James, and then James ended up selling it. And that's a kick in the pants, but it was a car. It wouldn't have been the one that got away. But the one that I
Right.
did sell, and I knew I had to, was Rob Jones's car. Rob Jones was a friend of mine in the Air Force who got out to save his family because they were in a drug lifestyle in Louisiana. Well, he got sucked into that drug life, and he got all cleaned up. Yeah, he got all cleaned up. Got a job somehow, working for the DOD contracting.
Cool.
Was in Iraq, walked to the guard station, and fell over dead. And I told his son at the funeral, and it was some type of heart disease, something from years of drugs,
Right.
I told his son, he didn't have a good rapport with his son, but I said, buddy, I'm going to find you one day and give you a ride in that car. And I didn't get to. So I don't know if that's the one that got away, but it's one that I feel like I let myself
Wish
down.
you to, wish you to finish that.
Yeah, but that kid, he didn't care. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the only person that stepped on their own dream was me. You know what I mean?
You,
right. Yeah, but it would have been a cool car because it's a round tube chassis fiberglass car. And
it would be a fast. You wouldn't need much of a motor to make that thing quick.
Yeah, but I've got a future in drag and drive. I don't get real competitive, but rather than having to tear this car down, it's been this way since I was 23 years old. And I've gone through, you asked me earlier, I've gone through 350s with blower, 383 with blowers. I went through 8 Keith Black pistons, one after another. Just learning curve, let's go bigger on the ring gap. Oh, these pistons aren't supposed to grow, but they do. 18 pounds of boost was the biggest mistake I made. But I lifted the heads on that one. That was years ago. I mean, I was 24, 25 years old, running 6 faster than I am now with a small one, but I was pushing everything.
Right.
And I couldn't drive on 87 octane and all this other business. I was running nitrous and a blower. But mostly, the most fun I ever had to the car was driving, looking over and seeing Reggie, and we're just cruising down these highways and, ripping it and getting it. And occasionally street racing, not against each
here
other.
and there.
Hey, look at that dog.
I mean, hey.
That's a good
hell yeah, it is. It definitely is. So you still got the Monte Carlo? Is it a Monte Carlo? Yeah.
Yeah, with flamethrowers on it. I've still got
that
46 Chevy back, but now with a 671 blower, a mega, the old B&M mega blower under the hood.
Cool.
And it needs a lot of work. I've got my 61 Cadillac. My wife's got her 60 Cadillac. I got a 50 Merc that is for sale, 2-door hardtop with the title. And I got a 34 Chevy that I got from James. I got another 34 solid car. It's a 2-owner. I got the owner's manual, 34 Chevy Coupe.
Nice.
So, and that's roughly half of what I got now. I got the coupe and even that little chop top truck that fell off the rack that I showed you on the pictures. My son actually I traded it. My son bought it back for $600. We put a 383 in it, and he drove it from 2011 to 2019, I think.
Nice.
And drove it to college, and it was the truck. Well, I got Mr. Wheels in my annual high school, most likely to succeed. I got Mr. Wheels. Both my sons got, what did they call it at this school? Something like meanest whip or something like whatever the kids call it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're all 3 known for cars. And
hell yeah.
So anyway, it's a long story, but it's not one that's got huge highlights, except for cop chases. People always think that's interesting, but
Yeah,
you
I
know,
mean,
they were pissed. There was 12 cop cars pulled in way after me, but I realized they were coming from the woodwork. They were coming from every corner. We went through 3 towns, all the way across the county, and I got shot at once. But they said they were calling in. The next round was going to go at my windshield. That's what the cops told me. I don't know if that's true.
yeah, I mean, who knows?
But they dented my hood with my face. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm just trying to give me my wallet. You know, like, put your hands up. They dented
Right.
my hood with my face. Then they, and it, according to the neighbor, then after I was hauled into the police station, they shot my other tires. My tow bill to get it, out of impound. I don't know. It just tripled what it would have been. But yeah, they were beating my face against the hood, and I was yelling, "White lives matter! White lives matter!" They didn't stop, man. Yeah, but
Oh
no.
shit.
On a serious note, until I joined the military, I didn't learn respect for authority. You know what I mean? So I was a little shit. Uh,
It happens. Happens to the
yeah,
best of us.
yeah. So
Um, what is your just I'm just running through my questions here, and
yeah,
if
yeah.
you got some, jam them in the comments here. A bunch of people are asking me about the Merc. How much for the Merc? How much for the Merc? How
Um,
much for the 50 Merc?
I I have to put it this way: it's negotiable. I was going to start at 7, but I'd probably, if it's a Rocky Mountain Race Week, brother, just figure out how we can get it to you. Um, maybe I could make a little money bringing it to you, but I'd
Yeah,
go
yeah.
5,000. Yeah, I'd sell for
So yeah,
5.
7 million would probably get that in your driveway.
At least I'm that, or like, what do you call that when you buy someone's kid for slave labor? You know, I would do
Yeah.
that.
No, exactly. Whatever. Got a lot of stuff to do. Got a lot of stuff to
Yeah,
do. But that said, I am running through my questions here. Throw your
yeah,
questions up in the comments, and we'll get those answered. An hour and a half in, this stuff goes quick. I like it.
that's
It's the
great.
craziest thing ever because I feel like we can do another hour and a half easy, and we're just scratching the surface. So, um,
Now I
what?
know I probably
Oh, sorry.
strayed
Go
away.
ahead.
I probably strayed away from the race week stuff too much, but I
No, it's
like
all good.
I
It
love.
honestly, it's very organic. It doesn't need to be just race week stuff. I just like talking with people and talking cars.
Well, I don't know if you guys anybody wants to check it. I posted a little reminder that it's tonight on Facebook, and what I
Oh,
put, my compliment to you, Adam, is that we all know who these people are in the car. Like I know that green Monte Carlo, but then when I listen to that podcast, now I know that guy. You know what I mean? I know
and
how.
that's the point. Like
Yeah,
you can walk up to someone and say, "I saw you on That's Cool Drink, and I had no idea you ABC or XYZ."
right.
And you have a stepping point, and this will end up with 500 views, and it'll be our 500 friends. It'll be the 500
Yeah,
people that do what we do, and that's if it never gets one more view than that, I'm fine with it. I love it. I love that
yeah,
I'm bringing this community closer together, and I'm showing people the personal side because
yeah.
people see the chicken coop, people see Angel doing her thing and you doing your thing and whatnot, but not everyone knows us,
Right,
you know,
right. Like
like
what we
sitting
stand for.
and seeing about you guys, and you guys camp the whole time, and you're idiots, and you do, you do hot rod and gasser things with each other, and you're
Right.
again, you're the salt of the earth people, man. Like you guys are awesome. I dig on you, and that's yeah. This can be as long as it's short, and as in depth or as not in depth as it needs to be because I have fun with it.
Well, like I
But
want to keep it interesting. I want to not be the guy who just sits and answers 5 questions. I legitimately don't have any pants on right now.
that's fine. It's fine.
So
Pants are for suckers.
it might get us 5 more views. No,
Let's go. Let's
no,
go.
I do.
What
I
is
have
your
my.
favorite racetrack you've ever been to ever?
Oh gosh, man. Well, it's going to be the one. Uh, I'm not an 8 mile guy. I grew up. That's all we had was 8 miles. You know.
Yep.
Um, but my fastest pass was South Georgia Motorsports Park.
Hmm.
And so that's going to be my favorite track. Um, as far as the way they're set up, you know, Bandimere is going to be everybody's kind of go-to.
Right.
And I only got to race there twice, you know, but I bought the shirt. I've been there. I'm glad to hear that family.
Did you cut the sleeves off the shirt?
Heck yes, I did, man.
Attaboy. Ernie Ruiz wanted to let you know that he cut the sleeves off his pants.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, exactly.
I would recommend you take the pants off before you cut them. Just some advice.
That's rookie stuff. Whatever. The one I gave you a heads up on, and I give everyone a heads up on. Your favorite drag and drive car that's not yours. Which car is your favorite, and which car would you like to own? Which car would you like to bring home? And if they're not the same car, tell us what both are.
Well, the part that I hate to admit is I wanted to name the most uncomfortable car I can think of.
Oh, so the organ grinder all day.
Well, that was one, but also I love Jesse, Preacher Man Jesse. Pronounce his last name. I always mess it up.
Medafferty.
Okay, I couldn't say that.
Jesse Medafferty. He's got the tractor.
Yeah, and so you know I've been side by side with him everywhere from Florida to Rocky Mountains, and I love that guy. So those two cars are very uncomfortable, but quite honestly, Rich Guido, you know, and I'm going to say this very nice. He's the one I call for advice. You know, it's none of our guys. It's not. I can't call my dad anymore, but my dad couldn't come close to. My dad had a Pro Charge 69 Chevelle, big block roller cam, 4-speed, 12-volt. But you know, 50,000 miles on a Pontiac engine. Now I know he freshens it up, but
but at 1,500 horsepower.
Pontiac engine. I'm sorry. Let's see, 50,000 miles on one set of lifters.
Right.
I don't know if you've watched his videos, the one he did of how he inspects his valve flash. He's the reason I have solid lifters on a hydraulic cam. I would have went with a solid cam, except somebody gave me a hydraulic cam.
Right.
So the only thing is, Rich, don't take this personal. Your car is a little bit too nice and way too comfortable. I mean, new seats. If you take the seats out, put an ice cooler for a seat, you know what I mean? And take the windshield out of it and put square wheels on it, then I would be more comfortable being uncomfortable. No, it's incredible, man. That guy's street ability, his knowledge, his connection with the car. And so it's not a LS.
Right. It's a Pontiac. It's a big Pontiac.
People can take offense. It's not an LS. I'm sick of seeing LSs, but I'm also sick of seeing small block Chevys, big block Chevys.
It's been the same since the beginning of time. I mean, guys that had T-buckets had small block Chevys in them, and Ford guys were like, well, you know, like what about the flathead? Right. You know, and and the flathead guys hated the small block Chevy guys, and the small block Ford guys hated the flathead guys and the small block Chevy guys. It's a time. It's a tale old as time.
Well, I'm not picking on anyone in particular, James Zajac. But I will say
he put it. Okay, so hold on. He put a roots blower on an LS, and yes, it was an LS, but it was a roots blower on an LS. Like that's not like a normal everyday thing. And I'm pretty didn't he go faster than you by a lot?
Yeah. I think 3 or 4 tenths faster. He had potential to go a lot faster.
I'm just saying. I mean,
he only had it to track a couple times.
And how many inches was that motor?
I think it was a 5. I mean, dang it.
It was like 320 or 325 or something.
Yeah, it's not a big motor.
And you got like a 496. No, and an 871, and you went slower.
Well, here's the problem. Here's me making excuses. He's got a clutch, so he's leaving the line at 3,000-4,000, and I'm running on a bone stock torque converter, and I'm leaving it at 800 RPM.
Whose fault is that?
Uncle Sam.
Your car could get a clutch in it too, my friend. Your car can get a clutch in it too.
No, you're absolutely right. But the thing I do love about LSs is like that Suburban out there. I'm at 482,000 miles. I can never say that. We're talking about the original fuel injectors, 6 of the 8 original coils. Valve cover's never been off of it. I changed 2 or 3 water pumps, 1 alternator, but I did take the oil pan off and put a $5 O-ring on it. So
Right.
again, I give the LS all the credit.
And the crew is all here talking about your mailbox.
Oh, did
They're-
they mention it?
They're misspelling it. It's weird. I'm not sure what's
Okay.
going on
It'll
with that. But anyway, so Guido's car.
So it's
And-
definitely the Guidos, and it's because it's straight shift.
Right.
One of the reasons. It's Pontiac, another reason. He's done more miles than almost everybody. He drives all the way from Canada on snow tires into Florida, where people
Right.
don't even know what a snow tire is.
Yep.
And then, favorite part, bar none, is it's him and his dad, and that gets me choked up, man. I get
Same. Yep.
father-son teams to me, father-daughter teams. You know, ever since I've been in drag and drive since 2020, not long, but my kids, one was living in Alaska and the other's living in Texas. And they both this month, well, one just graduated chiropractic school and now he's living 30 minutes away. And the other just drove from Alaska down to Mississippi. So anyway, I missed that's my favorite part, man. I love seeing Rich. If you're still on here, I love seeing you and your dad.
Heck yeah, and his dad's 80 or 81, and he's super. He helps, like he's spry. He's good with it.
Yeah.
It's cool.
And so,
bam, that is cool.
Yeah,
that's right.
You missed that? Yeah, I was on it, man.
Mm-hmm.
You got to choose.
Rich Guido says he's honored, but he misspelled honored. So I don't know if that actually means anything.
It's encrypted. It's something.
It is. And I tell them all the time. There's two kinds of countries: those that use the metric system and those with their flag on the moon.
Or is it?
Or is it right? Or did that happen? He's under his car listening, and that's cool. Like that dude works on his car, and he's Canadian, say.
Right. So you got to have grease under your fingernails, right?
Right.
And the other one is I never
gotta have
saw
a toolbox.
I never saw a lawn chair in his car. I always saw a toolbox.
Right.
So anyway, it's. I want my car to do what his does, but it's not going to be on this platform out here. I'm going to build a whole nother car after I'm done in 20 years.
What car is that going to be?
Imagine Ed Roth built a car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You saw my living room. It's postmodern. So
it would be like a mid-century modern.
Yes. So long wheelbase. I won't give too much away because Reggie's also got something in his brain. But man, if both of us build these platforms, then it's going to be a lot to talk about. You know what I mean? Because it's just so different than everybody else.
Hell yeah.
So
hell yeah.
Larry
tells me it's going to be wild, and Ed Hohenberg says if you use the metric system, you got to the moon sooner. I'm not actually sure if Canada's ever been to the moon. We went in '69, maybe. Allegedly, we went in '69, and it's 2024. I'm not even sure. I mean, I'm just saying.
Mankind's ability to lie, especially the government's ability to lie, hasn't just started in the last decade. You know, we've been pretty good about it ever since they were telling.
Hell no.
You know, it sucks, man. I
wish real long time.
The only reason I pulled myself out of a really bad funk was because I realized I can't even trust myself. You know, I'll say, hey, tomorrow morning I'm going to the gym first thing in the morning. But I hit snooze 14 times, then I go out and mow the yard or whatever, you know. So if I can't even trust myself, then I have to hate myself too, you know what I mean? So in other words, I try not to let any of it bother me. Whether we went to the moon or not doesn't matter. What matters is that I hang out at drag and drives, go fast,
and go party with a dude like Rich Guido.
Yeah, or
who's living the absolute dream.
Reading the firing order on my buddy's shirt. That's cool.
Bam. That is cool. This is a Freiburger shirt. Wearing that for Bonneville as well. Alex is going to be driving Keith Turk's car with an engine built by Freiberger, and that's the way that it's always been. Keith Turk owns the Camaro, and it's always been a Freiberger motor, and it's been, I think, as quick as 262 at Bonneville in
That's the same
various
one
different.
Alex, is that the one Alex drove last year?
It's the one Alex is driving this year. I believe that she did some like fitting and testing in that car last year, but she's actually going to go for a record this year.
Cool.
So yeah, it's going to be good.
So let me tell you about that shirt you got on. So a friend of mine, we were putting a 454 in his YJ Jeep.
Mm-hmm.
So one header fit pretty much a super competition header. The other one I cut into 11 pieces and put it in to miss the drive shaft. And so I'm spending a lot of time with this dude, man, and we're like brothers, you know what I mean? I get home from work and he's already swept and cleaned the garage because I'm teaching him, you know, how to build this Jeep and make it possible. He's going to put a small block in it. Well, towards the end of this build, we're out there. He's street racing with nitrous on 33-inch Thornbirds up against nitrous Mustangs, you know, and beat them.
Hell yeah.
And one night he launched it off the curb full throttle. These guys are all going, we just lost a street race to a guy that's jumping a Jeep, you know. Anyway, he comes in and I would say, hey, come on in, Rick, and have dinner with us. And as Rick was talking big and he's always poking fun with my wife, Tab. So he said something smart aleck, and she goes, Rick, you don't even know the firing order. And he goes, like you do? And she goes, 1-843-6572. No way. No way, Jason, your wife knows the firing order? I said, Thor, what's she talking about? He said, Dad, everyone knows that. He's 6 years old. He goes, looks at Rick and goes, it's 1-843-6572, Rick. You should know that. From a 6-year-old. And it's just classic, man. He never lived that down.
That's awesome. Hell yes.
Okay.
A few more questions from me, and if you got something in the comments, pop it up in there and let's get that done. Jason, trailer or no trailer?
Okay. Before I was camping, I wanted a roof rack, and I wanted to be able to back up into a parking lot in Walmart, you know what I mean, whippy split, just do donuts or whatever.
Yeah.
After this camping, our group we took camping to the next level.
I mean, big time.
Our trailer's got, mine's running water, but a couple of these guys got heated running water. They can take showers wherever we stop. The really fancy ones, there's 3 of them this year, and there'll be more in the future. These guys are pulling home-built trailers that have generators and air conditioning, you know?
Hell yeah, dude.
James Zajac was the first one to do that, and then, God, I don't know if you got to see the one that Larry built and was towing behind the Humrod.
Yeah,
but
and he just commented, camper, not even trailer, camper.
Exactly. And so, I'll put it this way, Larry will build a trailer for someone. He took the blueprints off James's, made them better, sturdier frames, and if anybody wants a camper, they should get a hold of Larry and see, you know, work out a deal, or just he'll share his ideas. He's brilliant, man. I mean, his trailer has a Model T door because eventually it's going to be towed behind his Model T, which is dirt track inspired, and I'll let him surprise the world with that. But it's an incredible build.
And I guess the mailbox was the camper of the year, and they keep spelling the mailbox wrong. It's weird. I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah, that whole mailbox conversation, I would just say, you got to watch the show. Whoever you are out there, you're, and we got more things. Guys that are listening, Reggie and Nick and you all, if you could think of anything else that we can kind of put a teaser out there.
Yeah, and Ernie's jumping in a bunch.
Oh, Ernie is hilarious, man.
Hell yes.
Oh God, that guy, he was out of our crew. Like, we always give credit to whoever had the best character, and Joey, Reggie's son, gets it almost every year.
Right.
But there was no denying the person who stayed the calmest and the coolest, you know, was Ernie, undoubtedly.
Yeah, dude. And Ernie's got the Datsun, the orange Datsun pickup, and yeah, dude, it's gangster. It's super cool.
Is that Ernie, let them know what your drivetrain is. I can never remember all those letters. It's like the
Yeah.
R2D2
It
C3PO.
yeah, it's a 26 REB, I think, like that, something like that.
Yeah.
Type it in there and let us know all the stuff there, Ernie. And I'm on my last question. So if you got another question, type it in the comments there. Ernie will tell us what the combo is with the Datsun truck. But my last question, and this is a very broad question for us. It can be anything. It can be anything we want. What advice do you have for a newbie? And I'm
Oh,
talking drag and drive. I'm talking someone that has maybe has a body sitting on a pallet somewhere.
so
Whatever.
I firmly believe in what I'm about to say, but there's an exception. So this year, I was getting on the guys' nerves, every one of them. I was like, we have to drive our cars at least 1,000 miles before we do this. Now, those guys like Reggie or me or Scott, we've done this before. So I wasn't trying to do that, but some of the new builds, and it's good that we did it. So my rule of thumb is you need to have 1,000 miles on it without continually braking.
Right.
Like your first 500 miles, brake it all you want. Your second 500 miles, you should have a somewhat reliable car.
Yeah, figure it out.
And so, in other words, you're working harder to make it streetable than make it fast. And so that's my first piece of advice. Excuse me. But the exception for this rule is if you're 1 month away from the race week or whatever, drag and drive, then don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Just because you didn't get to put 1,000 miles on it, that just means you still go to the event, but you tone the horsepower down and you
make it live.
Pack more tools. In other words, do you want to spend your last month swapping out things that don't really matter? Okay, like I got 1 month to get ready for this race. I haven't put any miles on my car yet, but yet you're in the garage putting better V-band clamps on your headers,
Right.
Well, you shouldn't have been doing that. You should have been driving it and finding out the transmission was going to be at 150 or 250,
Right.
You should have been driving it. You should hook your trailer up or whatever and pull it up a hill. But one thing I wanted to throw out a quick comment. So anyway, if that answer is good, the answer in a nutshell is 1,000 miles before you take it, or don't do the silly stuff. If you can get 300 miles on it, do that.
Right.
But test it in that 300 miles. You better test every scenario. The hardest thing you could do is drive it up Reggie's driveway. It's a mile like this. You know what I mean? And if you can make it to the top of that hill without overheating your motor or transmission,
You're probably in good shape.
Yeah, pretty good. And Reggie does it all the time, with a car that, at one time it only had one brake.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't have a torque converter. So
yeah, no, but he can drive, man, that guy. So I want to bounce back to the Canadians in the metric system. I have it on tip of my tongue till now that the camera's on. The Canadian uses filmed with Oldsmobile. Dang it. Raj.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, Raj Rovic. I had him on last week.
So yeah, I listened to that one and I loved it, man. I love the story behind the Oldsmobile motors, the car collection, but I especially loved that he's an advocate for burnouts. International
Burnouts. Right.
Yeah. So I just wanted to, if you don't mind showing that one I did, I was just asking for any tips, comments, because I really felt like that was the biggest burnout I've ever done in my life. So 3 things happened. I was at that news. Yeah, it's the one.
Keep talking. I'll find it.
Yeah, so we're on Route 66, and the road's bumpy and bouncy. And I actually made a meme for it, but I never shared it. It said, "I don't believe that movie Cars happened at all." Because I never saw anywhere on Route 66 where Lightning McQueen repaved the road. Lightning McQueen obviously was never on those roads. I couldn't see any fresh pavement. But we're in that little town, and we're in front of the old car dealership, the big giant, like I don't know what you call it, statue of a billboard or of a sign monument. It looked like. And there I am talking to, and I'm brain farting on names tonight like nobody's business.
It happens.
ah,
Was this at the? I'm sorry, real quick, at the fire station?
yeah, so we found out that the guy I was talking to, he drives S10 with his daughter. I think his daughter's Michaela. Um, you know who I'm talking about. It's the same guy,
Um.
father daughter, that pushed the truck a mile to change the engine last year, and they
Oh
did.
yeah. Jared Gwynn.
Jared, God, it was killing me. Sorry, Jared. Um, so he says, "Yeah, I got my drone. I'll video you." I said, "Where's it at?" He goes, "Right around the corner, the fire department." Well, that got me juiced up because my biggest gratitude was, how cool is a town that says, "Oh, there's only 300 or 400 of you. Come through.
Hmm.
We'll close off a road and let you do massive burnouts." And I destroyed a set of truck tires. And these were not a set of used tires from the from the local
Right.
junkyard.
These are nice, new, ready to go. Right.
That they're half life. You know what I mean? They had another, I don't know, 15,000, 20,000 in them, or more than that, probably 25, 30,000, but not the way I drive.
Right.
So I could have got another 15,000 out of them easy. But I'm like, I got to honor these firemen for doing this for us. And then the fact that I got an overhead shot that we put music to, and it's a freaking cool video. But yeah, if you want to show the one that has the from the ground,
Yeah, I'm
and
gonna show
thank
the
you,
one from the
Michael Knowles, because you're the
ground.
one that took
Yeah.
that video. Um,
Let's see. Here it is, right here.
did you find it?
I did.
Oh man, we froze up. There was hot rubber just spinning.
Oh no! Oh no! I got rid of him. I unfortunately got rid of. Crap! I was trying to get rid of the burnout. I got rid of Jason. I clicked him off and kicked him out. So hopefully he'll be on in just a moment. But guys, we're gonna get ready to wrap it up here. I'll have him on to say goodbye to everybody. But man, how much fun was this? Burnouts with Jason, learning about Jason and his Air Force time, and of course, good news about Angel. Um, man, such a good dude and a good episode. And man, I love me some Jason. Guys, this was so much fun. I hope he gets on here very soon. I didn't mean to kick him out of here. That was a dick move, big time. But yeah, hopefully he comes on very soon. Thanks so much for the Hot Rod and Gasser guys for tuning in and checking this out. We were talking to Jason when I had him kind of on the hook for this. There he is, right there. Hey, sorry, I kicked you out. It was me on accident. I didn't mean to do that.
Well, most of my friends do that.
Yeah, it happens, man. It
Like,
happens.
it's like when I was a little kid, my grandma said, "Jason, nobody likes you."
Damn it. I
Yeah.
still like you. I still like you.
Yeah.
No, it was super cool. We are going to have all of the Hot Rod and Gasser guys on at one time. I can host up to 8 people on this thing, I think. So we are going to do a smorgasbord, like a big Hot Rod Gasser kind of family reunion. And I'm basically just going to like moderate it. I'm just going to sit back and kick my feet up and let you guys do your thing. It is going to be very, very cool. But that is going to a future episode of That's Cool Drink. But tonight was all about Jason, all about Angel, and learning your kind of like your infancy into this world and why you're an idiot now. And again, we're nearly 2 hours into this thing, and I feel like we can go for 4 more hours. Like I mean, this is just awesome. I love this show. I love talking with these people. I can't wait to have you on later. I can't wait to have you on with the Gasser and Hot Rod guys. And man, I appreciate you coming on here.
Man, I thank you for what you're doing for the behind the scenes meeting the actual racers. And I want to thank everybody out there who, thoughts and prayers for Angel. And I'll just sum it up with, it scared the crap out of me. Her legs were paralyzed. She couldn't get up. I would stand her up. She'd fall over and just bam, like pushing a cow over, And
Yeah.
I got a kid that's a chiropractor, and we worked together on what we thought it was. And we had the vets analyze anything that was life-threatening. And thank God it's just something to do with she's getting old. Her spine's got problems, but 2, she had a really bad virus or fungus. So we got the steroids and what you call them, the pain pills and antibiotics, and it's amazing. She turned around. She's
It's
still
working.
one leg still draws up, the other leg still extends. When it was doing it bad, I tried to get her to walk, and she'd tip over right under her face, and topple over. And I mean, it wasn't funny. I was like going,
Yep.
I got it. Well, I'll just put it this way. That's unconditional love,
Yep.
a dog.
100%.
I came back from Afghanistan. I'm flying with 3 dead guys. I'm coming back to a broken life. And I'm thinking, why am I feeling sorry for myself? And before I came home, I drove 500 miles out of my way. So I fly, you flying home with 3 dead guys. And I'm thinking, man, why am I okay? And they're not. And I'm looking for this dog, and I find her in a ghetto. She's batshit crazy when I got her. And long story short, when people say that dog doesn't love you more than your wife or more than your kids or whatever, I said, look, man, if I lock my dog in the trunk of my car, or I lock my wife in the trunk of my car for, let's say, 8 hours, I come back and open the trunk, which one's going to be glad to see me?
That one's still going to be doing that.
Yeah, like, oh, Dad, thanks for opening the trunk. I've only been in here 3 days.
Oh my God, I love you.
Yep.
Let's go party.
Exactly. And I could never expect anybody to treat me that good. But she, honestly, I don't know, man. I'll just put it this way. Me and her are both nuts. They
Hell yeah.
say the dog's personality matches the owner. And so I'm just blessed that she's okay. And it's going to go downhill from here. But that's life.
Right, but I mean, it was cool that we were able to get this done in the time that we got it done, and none of this is on accident, dude. Everything happens for a reason.
Yep. That's honestly why. That's the only reason I would have said let just me do it with her versus the guys, because man, these guys, they're gonna make the show. They're gonna keep you in stitches for 2 hours.
Super sweet. It's gonna be so much fun, and the vet guys, you guys are definitely invited. Absolutely, you're part of the crew, so. Nick and Scott, we will definitely have you guys on, and the rest of the Hot Rod Gasser dudes, and really just the crazy camping crew. You guys are your own folks. So
the good news is we can take some of the Arizona guys, which is Nick and Ernie and Joe. Man, Joe's cool. We can put them all in one phone or camera, and then the Arkansas guys can all squeeze in.
Yeah. And Reggie says no vet guys. Reggie wants no vet guys involved.
Reggie will let them in as long as they'll cut their freaking fenders off. It's like, I don't know why we still hang out with them. We've told them they cut the sleeves off their shirts, so it's a small start, but it's big.
And they cut the sleeves off their shorts too. So I mean, they're making their way in, and they're part of the crew.
Scott, if you're still watching, yes, you did beat me one time down a track, but I got you because I went I went into Suncoast today, and I said, it's just like on Fast and Furious. Give me one of them torque converters like Scott Guthrie has. No,
that's right.
Better make it 2.
Yeah. Well, that said, dude, I think we're rocking. I think we're in good shape. This has been super duper fun. Thank you so much for rapping with me before, during, after this show. All the time I spent with you has been an absolute pleasure. You're one of the coolest dudes that's involved in hot rodding. You're one of the coolest dudes that does this for real life reasons, and it's not just like, hey, I just want to do my thing. Like, you want to get your people involved in it. You want to do tacos and stuff. You do a cruise that you take people through mud and trails and stuff like that in Florida. And yeah, dude, this has been a damn fine time. And I've been kind of hoarding you a little bit. You're the cover photo on my That's Cool Drink Facebook page, and that was really us just shooting the shit, drinking some beers, having some fun, and talking life. And
that was a good
Scott
day.
Whitty. Yeah, Scott Whitty got a good picture of that, and it was us enjoying ourselves and like I said, talking life, talking reality, talking money, talking everything, and I cherish that conversation because it brought me into what I'm doing with this, and yeah, dude, it was really cool.
Is that the moment that we talked about that for the first time? Or? I know.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe
Yeah.
so. And we were just, we were just sitting there and we were enjoying a couple of Miller High Lifes, I believe. And, you said, hey, you owe me a couple of more of these beers. And I said, you got it. I don't think we have had those beers since then. So I owe you some real face-to-face time, but we had some fun tonight doing a little bit of drinking and partying and catching up with you. And like I said, I can't wait to see you back with the Hot Rod and Gasser dudes. So I'm going to lean on you to kind of set that up and get that ball rolling with them cats. And
trust me, we got a group page. The minute you say give us a date, then we'll be locked on and we'll figure it out.
I can't wait. I can't wait, man. I can't wait.
The group is big. If we get all the guys that are participating in that group page, it's well over 8. So I'll put it that way.
Oh yeah, I mean, we might have like 5 or 10 views on that show when we make it happen. But Jason, thank you again for being on. I'm going to bring you in the background. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. I will bring you back on, and I'll tell you good night.
All right, let me tell them I love them, man. All you guys.
Yeah, do it. The floor is yours for the next 1 minute.
This thing is, I got addicted to Drag and Drive for the people. A lot of people love the challenge. I do love the challenge. We're in a society and everything where we're not challenged enough, men and women alike. That's why we're addicted. But the main reason I'm addicted is, and I've heard it on every one of your podcasts, Adam, the people of Drag and Drive will give you faith in humanity again,
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Love you guys out there.
They
love
really
y'all.
will, dude. Thank you for being on. Thank you everyone for tuning in. If you were here for the first minute or the last minute, or you're tuning in on the podcast later on down the road, you guys are the real heroes. We appreciate you guys so much, and Jason and I appreciate you. And dude, this has been fun. This has been
be sure to share Adam's YouTube link to this one and all of them. Let's get this guy, and he's just helping the world know about Drag and Drive. So thank you.
Totally.
Adam. Love you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man. I'm going to bring you in the background. I will say goodnight to everybody. Cheers. That is cool, my friend. Bam. How about Jason Schaefer? Oh, my God. And we got some Angel. Thank God she's inside. She's enjoying some AC. Jason's out in the garage slumming it out with us. And Angel's living the life, guys. But if you've never met Angel, you've never met Jason, you need to get to a Drag and Drive. You need to meet them. Man, it's we never even got around to the intercooling the tub. He had her in a tub that he carries in the coupe. It got so hot that he got another tub and put ice between the 2 tubs and intercooled the dog. We'll talk about that at a future when we do the Hot Rod and Gasser deal. But dude, Jason, Angel, episode 50. What a cool night. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thanks so much to Jason for tuning in. All you guys are awesome. When we do the Hot Rod and Gasser class, we're going to do everybody, dude. It's going to be the whole group of these dudes and those. And we're going to let those Corvette guys in. I don't care what Reggie says about Corvette guys or my fiance that looks like my daughter. So we're going to hammer on Reggie a little bit. He's 118 years old. And guys, we're gonna have a blast when that comes around. So when it comes around, we will make it happen. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for 50 episodes of That's Cool Drink. Plenty more to come. Like I said, next week I'm at Bonneville for so nothing happening on Tuesday. I've got the Havlicks FSC shootout right after that, and then the Tuesday following that, I have the Duality. I've got the old school Jason Schaefer show tonight with the hot rod stuff. I have the Ledesmans up next. They are going to be up in 2 weeks. They had the Mustang Mach-E, and they finished first and second in the 13.0 category with the same exact car and charged along the route. So we're going to go old school, roots blower, carbureted stuff to a complete full EV car that competed back to back. So it's going to be very cool. Thanks again so much for you guys for tuning in. Thanks so much for tuning in for all of these 50 episodes. I appreciate you all so much. You guys are awesome. Episode number 50 coming to an end. We are done.